So Sports Interactive have finally released their data update or winter update. It is now available for you guys to play in Football Manager. So I thought it was time to sit down and take a look at some of my favourite Wonderkids following the data update. I will put together my Wonderkid 11 based in a 4-2-3-1 and show you what they look like at the start of the game and also what they look like 10 years into the future. I'll be running through position by position and hopefully you guys can pick up some gems for your save. So first of all, let's start off with our goalkeeper. So kicking things off in goal, we have German youngster Dennis Seimen. Now this guy is fantastic. He has all the attributes that you would look for in a goalkeeper to be fantastic. He's already got a base level and he's only 16 years of age. He's 6'3". He starts at Stuttgart, or their second team over in Germany, and he has a current ability of 100 already as you start things. In this particular instance, he has a potential ability for me. Obviously, his potential ability range does change, but in this instance, he has a potential ability range of 159. He has high attributes as well in his hiddens for pressure, professionalism, as well as consistency. And at that price point of 4.7 to 14 million pounds, this could be a goalkeeper that you would sign at the start of a save and he'd just be there at your club for the entire duration. This guy has that ability to be up there with the best goalkeepers in this game. Flash forward 10 years into the future and he is the goalkeeper at Premier League Everton, and if you ask me, I think he looks fantastic. Brilliant attributes for aerial reach, communication, 18 for one-on-ones is absolutely brilliant. He's also got really nice mental attributes for goalkeepers as well. Nice strong leadership, good positioning, good vision as well. High jumping reach, as I said, coupled with the fact that he is 6'3". This is only 10 years into the future as well, guys, and he's still only 26. So obviously for a goalkeeper, he's still got a little bit more time to go to get to the peak of his powers. Obviously, looking at this, he looks like one of the best goalkeepers in the game, and he definitely did live up to that 159 potential ability. So let's move forward and let's look at the right back. So in the right back position, we have a young Belgian by the name of Hugo Siquet. He looks great and obviously does start this first season on loan back into Belgium. He originally does start as an SC Freiburg player, and I think physically he has the potential to be a real handful in this game, a natural at both right back and right wing back. Age 19, he has a current ability of 119 in this particular instance and a potential ability again of 158, so he's kind of going to hit the same sort of threshold. And if you like the look of Dennis Seimen, you're going to like the look of this guy as well. As I did mention, he starts season 1 on loan, so you won't be able to sign him immediately, but would be a very, very good signing for season number 2. 10 years into this simulation and he is now a Manchester City player. He has developed into quite a stud, if you ask me. Manchester City bought him from Freiburg for 45 million quid, and physically I just think this guy's unreal. Really high pace, stamina, natural fitness as well. He is brilliant, and he's almost a centurion for his national team as well. He's made 99 appearances for Belgium, definitely locking down that right back spot. And if Manchester City come calling, you know this is a high caliber player. We move into the centre backs now, and this is potentially one of the most obvious players on this list. We have Giorgio Scalvini. Now, if you've watched any of my saves, I actually have this guy in both of my online saves. At Versailles, I have him as a centre back, and at Lazio in my network game, I have him playing as my defensive midfielder. So there's obviously versatility there. He has a high potential range, guys. His potential range goes anywhere between 150 to 180. Obviously, all players in FM have that range that could go up to 200. It ranges player on player. Giorgio Scalvini has 150 to 180, so you know he's an elite tier talent. He's 18, he's at Atalanta, he is 6'4". He is an absolute monster and could be a stud for your saves if you choose to sign him. 10 years forward in this simulation, and he is actually a Manchester United player. Sad, I know, but he is the epitome for me of elite tier centre back. He's 28 years of age now. He's still 6'4". Of course, he has that worldwide reputation as well. 80 plus caps for Italy, and all those mental attributes as well are absolutely brilliant and just what you want to see in this elite tier centre-back. Manchester United did pay an awful lot for his services. It was 59 million quid, but looking at his current value now of 106 to 318 million, it actually looks like a really good bit of business. Playing alongside him at centre-back is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙤𝙪. Now, this is a player that I've not actually heard of before, but actually was part of the data update that SI pushed out. He was a January transfer. He was playing at Corinthians over in Brazil. He is now playing at Zenit St. Petersburg in the Russian league, which is slightly controversial, but he has all the footings for a good centre-back. Again, he's 18 years of age. He's 6'1". He is predominantly left-footed. For those of you who like that balance in your centre-backs, a right footer on the right-hand side, a left footer on the left hand side, I got you here, guys. He looks again like a fantastic little player, and he actually got a nice little bit of a bump in his current ability as well as part of that data update. I think he could be fantastic, and I'm saying that because I've seen what he looks like in 10 seasons time. And this is what he looks like in 10 seasons time. Again, much the same as Scalvini, mental attributes very, very key for your centre-backs, but this guy actually has slightly better technicals, if you ask me, better heading, better marking, better tackling and technique to couple with those already impressive mental attributes. He is now a Atletico Madrid player who at the top end of his value is valued at 205 million pounds. Atletico Madrid only paid 29 million pounds for his services to Zenit, and I think that is again a very, very good bit of business for what is an elite ball playing defender. Into the left back slot, and I actually struggled with a player for this position, and I actually think Amar Dedic is a good prospect. Again, another one coming out of the RB Salzburg production line. He's not originally, I think he might actually be originally their player. He's gone to Wolfsberger, looks like on loan, but ultimately I think this is a nice little prospect. 19 years of age. He's already been capped by the Bosnia national team, so you know he has a little bit of promise. Definitely on the lower scope in terms of the current price point that you are looking to pay for this guy, but ultimately I think he has everything that you would like in a fullback. He's a natural on the left. He can also play on the right. He's good on both feet. I'm very intrigued to see what this guy looks like in 10 seasons time. So in 10 seasons, he's actually playing alongside Scalvini at Manchester United. Now, his career has been slightly different. He actually got purchased by Real Madrid from RB Salzburg in this simulation over to Dortmund then, because things didn't pan out in Madrid. He wasn't playing as much as he wanted, and then Manchester United decided that they wanted to buy him to play him as their left back. He looks very good, as I said, physically, again, very nice. It's what I want in my fullbacks personally. I like the higher work rate. I like the high physicality in my fullbacks. He's got a great first touch as well, and as I mentioned, fantastic on both feet. Can play as an accomplished player on both flanks in both fullback and wingback positions. Again, I think this is a very, very good pickup for any team in FM this year. Moving into the central midfield spots, and we have, first of all, Rafael Luis. Again, a Benfica player. Benfica are world renowned for producing so many elite tier talents, and this guy, again, is one of those. He's 17 years of age. He's 6'2", and I know what you're thinking, looking at his attributes on screen right now, Steve. He isn't very good, but you have to remember he is one of the youngest players on this list. He definitely has room to grow, guys. Definitely, believe me. He has that potential ability range of 140 to 170. Yes, okay, his current ability is really down there, but that is kind of reflected in his value. You can pick him up for 1.1 to 3.4 million pounds for this youth prospect. Get him in your team, get him playing immediately, because I can tell you he looks like an absolute stud in 10 years time, and this is what he looked like in my particular simulation. 27 years of age. Again, looking at his attributes, all I can say is just wow. Like, this guy is brilliant. High tackling attribute as well for a central defensive midfielder, and but also a creative outlet. He's got 17 passing, 18 vision, good first touch as well. Supreme mentals. Again, you can kind of see the types of players that I look for in this kind of Wonderkid list, guys. Again, physically fantastic as well, along with the fact that he's 6'2". He is currently at Tottenham, not my choice of club, but he's currently at Tottenham, and Tottenham actually pays £76 million to Benfica for his services, and to be honest, he's 27 years of age right now. He is in the peak of his powers. Playing alongside him in this makeshift Wonderkid 11 that I put together, we have his Benfica teammate. This is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 Veloso. He looks fantastic as well. Slightly more on the creative side. You're not going to get as much defensive output from Veloso as well. Again, on the lower end in terms of that price point, 1.2 million to 3.6 million again for him. But this guy actually has a higher potential range. His potential range is 150 to 180. So again, you're going to expect to see a little bit better and a little bit more output from this guy. He's 6'1" and is going to be a creative orchestrator for your team. And in 10 years in this simulation, he actually did stay at Benfica. He's now 26 years of age. He's 6'2", but definitely look at those attributes. The media description is saying midfield orchestrator, and it's very difficult to disagree. 16 technique, 17 passing, great first touch as well. High vision, off the ball, flair, composure, anticipation. Again, physically very, very good. I like the traits that have been put on him in this instance as well. Plays 1-2s and dictates tempo. Yes, I will have a bit of that, please. And ultimately, he didn't even leave Benfica here, and I think he could be an elite tier central midfielder for any team in Football Manager. So moving into the attacking third of the field, and this is a fan favourite since his addition into Football Manager last year, we have 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. Now, he starts off over at FC Copenhagen in Denmark. He is a young Swedish prospect. He starts the game at 16 years of age, and he already looks fantastic, but he has the highest reputation of any player that we have on this list, apart from one other that's going to come up in a minute. So you're going to have some competition for this guy. He is already seen a +12 increase in his current ability thanks to that data update, and that is primarily because I believe, let me just consult my notes, he's got 3 goals and an assist in 9 league appearances so far, and he's already been represented in the Champions League as well. So you can kind of see Sports Interactive have looked at this guy in real life and gone, you sir need a bump, and they've definitely given it to him. If we take a look at him 10 years into the future, he is now a Chelsea player. He's obviously made his way to England because pretty much everybody in this list has. It's because it's where all the money is. He is now a Chelsea player, and technically he looks phenomenal. As a creative outlet on the right hand side, I think he can be elite tier. It says he can play up top as well. I'd personally have him on that right hand side as an inside forward or an inverted winger or something to that caliber. He did go on a free to Aston Villa in this instance. At the end of his contract, no big name did come in for him whilst he was at Copenhagen, and then Chelsea paid 90 million for him because Chelsea love spending money on wingers, don't they? So yes, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 is then over at Chelsea. Now we move into my favourite player on this list. So we are talking about Alex Scott. Now, yes, I am biased. Yes, he is a Bristol City player. Yes, that is the team that I support. But I think showcasing him in this, you will definitely understand why I like him as a player. As part of that data update as well, he's received a bump in his potential ability range. He was 140 to 170. He's now 150 to 180. So on average, his ability level will be just that little bit higher across the board in every single save. He starts in the Championship, of course, at Bristol City, and in this particular instance, he had lots of Premier League attention around him. He's already been capped at youth level for England, but in terms of a price point, it's not going to break the bank for a lot of Premier League teams. 5.4 million to 16 million for a player like this, and I can guarantee you guys, you're going to want to see a player like this. He has the ability to be special in 10 seasons time. And if we flash forward on screen, you will now see Alex Scott as a West Ham player, and Breezy will be happy with this one. But I think looking at it, Alex Scott is my favourite player in this list. He's a natural in 3 key positions in central midfield. You can play him as a defensive midfielder, you can play him as a central midfielder, you can play him as a central attacking midfielder, which would be where I would play him. But it's the mental attributes for me that have seen the biggest bump. Obviously, high anticipation, composure, determination, flair, off the ball, positioning, vision, work rate. You can see why this guy has gone on to be a mainstay in the West Ham team, and also for England as well. He's got 60 caps for England at this point. He is only 28 years of age as well, so definitely again in the sort of peak of his powers, but a fantastic player, and West Ham picked him up for just a little bit of a steal, I would say. I think it's around 16 million. I can't remember off the top of my head. 16.75 million. Absolute steal for my favourite player in this list. list. Now we have the next big thing coming out of France, and by coming out of France I mean he's French, but he's definitely playing in the Bundesliga. We have Mathys. He is over at Bayern Munich, and he is the most expensive player on this list at the start of a save. He is listed as a striker, but for me, I'll play him on the left-hand side, play him as an inside forward because he's got a very strong right foot and he has the ability to cut inside and cause teams problems. Now, obviously, he looks very good. He is 17 years of age. He's 6 foot. Obviously, Bayern are going to want some money for him, but I actually do see him released a decent amount, actually, because he just doesn't get the game time that he requires when he is at Bayern Munich. Flash forward 10 years in this particular simulation, and he is a Liverpool player, playing really well, it would appear, but he's a little bit disappointed that they didn't win a domestic cup. Liverpool did buy him for £82 million from Bayern Munich, and again, you can kind of see why I've said that I think he's an inside forward, not an advanced forward. That high dribbling attribute of 17, in my opinion, is wasted on a centre forward, but he's got good composure as well, good flair. He has the ability and the physicals to unlock a defence, and Mathys is a very good player if you can afford to buy him. And the last player on this list is, of course, the striker, and we're talking about Rasmus Hojlund. Now, this guy is the striker at Atalanta. He's not the main man at Atalanta at the start of a save. Obviously, they've got Duvan Zapata, Alejandro Gomez, and stuff like that. So if you can pick this guy up, if you can pick him up, I think you're on to an absolute winner. Looking at his attributes, his base attributes at the start of a game, he is fantastic. He has all the things that I would look for in a young striker, and he's 6'3". He is a beast, and he's got 17 work rate as well, which can't be taught. In my opinion, you either have the high work rate or you don't, and this guy definitely does have it. He's got 16 pace, he's 6'3", he's 19 years of age, and flash forward 10 years and you can see why he is a Real Madrid striker. Attribute wise, he's definitely improved in all of the key areas. That finishing has gone up, the composure has gone up as well. The off the ball is the one that I look for in strikers. An off the ball of 16 and a work rate of 17 in a centre forward, I guarantee at whatever level they will score goals for you. Physically, again, he looks like a monster, and you can see why Real Madrid made him the most expensive player on this list for an individual transfer at £102 million, which they paid for him. So ultimately, that is my Wonderkid 11. Are there any players that I've missed off of this list? And if there are, let me know about them down in the comments. And if you want to see me pick up some of these players in a rebuild, check out this playlist here, because these are my favorite players. Check out the playlist where I rebuild lots of different clubs in this year's game.